Awesome. So I know it says Kayla on my video, but my name is actually Jamie. This is our company's Zoom account, and I don't know how to update the name, so I do apologize. But yeah, so my name is Jamie. I have likely been on the phone or via email, have communicated with most of you. I oversee all of the administrative side of Pathways. And then I also have Jackie here as our guide, who's going to be able to answer any of your trip questions, gear questions, route questions, stuff like that. So between the two of us, hopefully we can just put a little bit of ease if you have any questions that are causing concerns or stress or packing, or you're just here to get excited with us. It is really, really, really great to see so many of you here this evening. We're really excited for the trip. The Yukon is a very, very, very special adventure, and we're just super grateful that you've chosen Pathways for your trip this summer. We really want this to be informal, conversational. We don't have a huge itinerary for tonight. We want to open it up to all of you to ask your questions so you can get your answers and feel prepared and excited. Couple housekeeping reminders. I have been asked a couple times if there is a packing list. Yes, 100%. You have all received it in multiple emails. So your deposit email that you received, your final payment email also attached to that. If you haven't been able to find it, please reach out to me. I can send you a separate copy via email again, just to make sure you have that packing list. It's a super important piece for this trip. Waivers, most of you have completed the guest profiles and waivers. If yours isn't completed, I have reached out here in the last 24 hours. Most of them are pretty much done. I might just need a couple signatures here and there. If there's a challenge for you to find where that needs to be completed, please let me know. I can walk you through it, or I can just complete it for you with you over the phone, via email, whatever works. So I am going to let Jackie introduce herself. She has done the Yukon a couple times over with us. She has been guiding with us for many years. She is a wealth of knowledge. So Jackie, if you could pop in and give us a bit of an intro about yourself, some of your guiding experience, bit of your paddling background, why you love the Yukon, and what they can expect on the trip, that would be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, so as Jamie said, I'm Jackie. I've done the Yukon a few times now. And paddle a little bit all over. Majority of my paddling I do in the Lower Mainland, taking a lot of school groups and kids out for day trips and overnight trips. And so always going on a Yukon is a breath of fresh air. To be with adults for a little bit is a nice change of pace for me. But yeah, kind of the Yukon is one of those things that you only get to do every so often. We only run one trip a year, so it's always exciting for me to head out there. This year, unfortunately, I won't be joining you, but we'll have some other amazing guides who have lots of experience heading up with you. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you can't really put into words until you're there, but it's just breathtaking in the nature and kind of how far away you feel from everything while still being so accessible within what we have. Feels really amazing that we've come so far, have all this technology to keep us safe out there, but still feel that distance from everything else is pretty incredible.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jackie. I'll go over just a couple little logistics. Sometimes a trip like this has some moving parts. So even though we try and make sure that you are front loaded with all of the details the moment you register, as we approach the season, there can be some little pieces that all of a sudden we realize might be really valuable to you. So one of the things, and I have included it in an email, but I will send a summary email either tomorrow or Monday with what we discussed in the meeting this evening and some of those other pieces that may not be in that original registration package that you received. So one of those is we would love to have a pre-trip gathering the evening prior to departure. So we're going to host that at the Tourism Info Center at 7 p.m. Again, I will send the Google pin for the exact location and the times again in an email. This is for a couple reasons. This year, for the first time, we are offering up loaner large 110-liter dry bags for you to use. These are proper portage style, even though you're not portaging, they're just more comfortable to move your gear around for those that need to use them. The logistics of getting these to you in the morning and you having time to repack and figure that out with a shuttle that's waiting for us just doesn't work. So this meeting will allow you to meet your guides, meet each other the night before, and we can distribute these dry bags so you can, my apologies, you can take these back and repack your stuff in your room and have time to do so. The other thing is that we do need everybody to sign a waiver specific for, it's called Up North is the shuttle company that we utilize. Again, previously we used to do this in the morning, but it was just too busy. So we will distribute these waivers at the meeting the evening prior. Then you have the evening to sign it and just bring it with you in the morning to the shuttle meeting location. So again, I'll send that out in an email. So how that will work for those that are using the dry bags is that you're going to go back to your hotel room and you're going to repack all your stuff into the Pathways dry bag. Bring your personal bag, and if you have any other small items that you need to leave behind with you in the morning, we're going to put a kit together that's going to stay with Up North while we're out on the trip. When they come up to Dawson City to pick us up, they're going to bring your personal bags up there. We'll distribute those back to you the night before we depart Dawson City. So again, you have time to unpack the Pathways bag, repack yours, and we'll collect the Pathways bags in the morning. So for those that were kind of wondering how that gear piece would work, that's how we have laid it out. Any questions about that, feel free to ask those just in a moment. The other piece that came up last year is that we're meeting at Tim Hortons for departure on 2nd Avenue. There are 2 Tim Hortons on 2nd Avenue. So there was a little bit of confusion, even though we did include a Google PIN. I just want to make sure that you're checking that Google PIN for which one. I'll send it again in this follow-up email, but there are 2. So please make sure you're not just looking up Tim Hortons on 2nd. You have a 50-50 chance of ending up in the right place, basically. So that's something that came up last year. And the other one is, I'm sure those that are flying in and out, you likely already have your flights out of Whitehorse booked. I just want to reiterate, we just don't ever want to recommend that you fly out on that same day that you return to Whitehorse, just because there are things that could come up, whether it's construction or weather, that could delay that trip back. We just would hate for anybody to miss their flights. So just a few, again, housekeeping notes that I wanted to add in there. But ultimately, this is for you all to ask myself if it's administrative or Jackie, any questions. So please feel free to just unmute yourself, hop in there with a question, and then once we're wrapped up, just mute yourself again so that we can all make sure that we can hear each other.
Well, I have a question. Do you know is it possible, I'm driving up and I need a place to park my car. Do you think I can park it at the center? Or should I give them a call and see about what they know about that?
I had a gentleman who needed to leave his vehicle up there last year, and I believe I have a list. I can go back and take a look for it after as to where we kind of discovered that he could leave it. So let me make a note of that, and I can follow up with you
Okay.
tomorrow for that for sure. Sometimes you
Okay.
can also check with your hotel as well. Sometimes they allow long-term parking because there's a lot of the nature
Mhm.
of the Yukon is a lot of people are coming up there to go and explore. So I would recommend first off checking with your hotel to see if that's an option or if they have recommendations. But let me also look up what I came up with last year and I'll reach back out to you with that one.
Okay.
For the dry bags, do we need one or two for the 2 of us? Should we each have our own dry bag, or is one enough for 2 people?
Jamie, I'll pop in here if that's all right. Yeah. So depends. Generally, we suggest 1 dry bag per person, just because with your tent and your sleeping bag and sleeping mat and all of your clothes, it does get really full really fast. And then also, it's just so much easier to keep it separated,
Okay.
just so that all your clothes don't end up in this giant ball and you're having to dump the whole thing out to separate. So I would definitely suggest having your own personal dry bag, just to allow yourself enough room in the dry bag, and just help keep yourselves a bit more organized.
Okay. Thanks.
Hi, Jamie and Jackie. quick question around bugs. What kinds of like how bad will the bugs be? Do people need nets? Is it just bug dope? What do we need for that?
Hmm. So honestly, the last 2 years, the bugs haven't been really bad at all. I was kind of really surprised. I don't think I put bug spray on once. That being said, it can really do whatever it wants. Um, some campsites, depending where you are, because it all depends on water level where we camp. We camp on islands on the river. And so some campsites you're tucked in away a little bit more, and then it's just a little more buggy because you don't have as much of a breeze coming through the campsite, where other campsites you have a bit more of a breeze and then it's not bad. Um, I always bring just a bug net for my head. I've never used it, but I just like having the assurance that if it is bad, I do have that. But then just bug spray is probably your best bet. But even then, I haven't found it to be bad. But let's hope it's one of those years again.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Where are other people staying? I haven't booked accommodation yet because my friend I was gonna stay with her and she's gone on holidays. So anybody got any ideas?
Found a lot of hotels are available on booking.com.
Okay.
An inn, I believe, the first 2 nights, and we're staying at a different place the last night. I can't remember which that one was called.
Where's the first night? I didn't hear that.
The Raven Inn, I think, and it's
Okay.
really close to the Tim Hortons, like I think across the street or nearby.
Okay.
I think that's where
Thank
we
you.
booked to the Raven Inn because it was close to that Tim Hortons.
Yeah, it's the Raven Inn that we're staying at before the trip, and it was very close to the Tim Hortons that we're supposed to go to.
Yeah, I got it.
That was what I got.
Oops. Yeah, hi, we're staying at the Quality Inn, which is close to.
And
Quality.
I'm staying at the Best Western Gold Rush Inn on Main Street, I think.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I ask, sir, another one? So I'm just trying to count because there's different people and a couple of pairs on here. Of there how many of us are there? And how many guides are there going to be a part of this trip?
Sure, yeah. So there are 12 clients paddling and 2 guides. So Attila, I know some of you have paddled with Attila on the Bowrin before. Attila will be leading this trip. And then another one of our wonderful guides, Rachel, is currently assigned as second. Unfortunately, Rachel did just break her wrist. So we're not certain. We're just waiting for final word from her doctor. If she is unable to, we have another awesome guide named Caleb, who would be the second on this trip. For anybody that's wondering where you will be staying in Dawson City, we have everybody booked in it's called the Downtown Coast Hotel for the 2 nights that you're in Dawson City. And then the shuttle usually arrives on that 10th day at about 10 a.m. They show up in Dawson usually the night before and we load up the canoes and gear at that point, but we will depart Dawson at about 10 a.m. to head back to Whitehorse. There is usually one stop is it Carmax, Jackie, that you guys usually stop in?
Yeah, it is normally CarMax. Yeah.
Yeah, so CarMax. So we do recommend grabbing, some snacks and a breakfast and stuff in Dawson. CarMax, I believe it does have a little bit of a grocery shop, or is it just a gas station?
It's a unique mix of everything and some antiques.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you can do souvenir shopping when you grab snacks on the way back. So we will make a stop in CarMax because it is a trek back to Whitehorse. But yeah, those are some of the shuttle and Dawson City details. Any other gear questions? Everybody's feeling comfortable with packing, travel arrangements, weather, wildlife, all those good questions.
One of the items on the list is for us to have rubber boots. Do you have a recommendation on what kind to get? Because we're traveling and packing, I just wondered if there's a lightweight rubber boot that is available.
Yeah, I have a rubber boot that folds down on itself. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's like kind of more of a flexible rubber boot. Um, Another option that you could go with is a taller neoprene sock. And that would kind of give you similar protection as a rubber boot, and then you just wear your shoes over it, and then it would keep your feet dry. Um, but it's like kind of more flexible, or there's sometimes almost just like a rain jacket sock that you put on and then wear your shoe over, and then you kind of have that without having the bulkiness of a rubber boot. Okay. So something like that. But if you just look up like folding rubber boots, there's a whole bunch of different options that you could probably find, and a lot of outdoor stores are starting to carry more of that sort of stuff as well.
Okay, thank you.
And just to confirm, Jackie, the rubber boots don't have to live in your dry bag, right? They can be outside. So just for space reasons in your dry bag, because obviously depending on what style you go with, if they're not the flexible ones, they can take up quite a bit of space. They don't have to go in your dry bag. Is that correct, Jackie?
Yeah, that's right.
In terms of snacks on the trip, should we be bringing extra snacks, or what about dietary restrictions that we might have? Who should we relay those to?
So in your guest profile, there is a whole section that asks about any dietary restrictions, any allergies, sensitivities, what we can cater to, what we can't cater to. Snack wise, I'll let Jackie speak specifically to it because she knows the menu and the snack situation. But we do always recommend, and it's in our information packages, that everybody has different caloric needs and different eating habits. So if you are somebody that just loves to snack all day, or you really just don't do well with long periods in between meals, because there is a lot of paddling, we do provide snacks that you pack with you for the day. You're always welcome to bring your own snacks so that you can just make sure you have the items that you enjoy having and frequency. You're welcome to bring your own snacks. You just have to remember to make sure that those are packed away with the group gear at night. But maybe Jackie, you can speak to what the day looks like meal wise from morning till evening.
Yeah, so generally, obviously, we'll wake up, have breakfast, and then right after breakfast, you prepare your lunch for the day, and we generally make it all and you pack it into your bags just so that everyone has their lunch, as generally we're kind of just stopping in the middle of the river on an island, getting out, and then to unload all the canoes and all the food would take up quite a bit of time, so everyone will just have their lunch packed on them. And then that food is kind of at your discretion to eat throughout the day. And then once we get to camp for the night, which is generally around 3 or 4 p.m.-ish, depending on how fast the river is moving, how fast we're paddling as a group, if we've had to stop to filter water, all these things, then we'll often try to pull out a snack, just something light before dinner. And then obviously have dinner around 6-ish, depending. And then we normally have dessert around the campfire a little bit later in the evening. And so depending on what you need, if you need to eat more frequently, feel free, or if you have specific things you like. One good thing to note is if you are bringing quite a bit of food, make sure you have a smaller bag that it can all fit into, just because obviously food we don't keep in our tent. And so if you all have individual granola bars everywhere, then trying to find space for that to go somewhere is harder. So I'd suggest a smaller dry bag that it can kind of all fit into, and then you can just put that in the smelly stuff for night with all the rest of our food, rather than it all getting mixed in and then having to pull it out of your bag every night. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you do have any really specific questions about if you have again, allergies or sensitivities or anything like that, feel free just to give me a call. We always want to make sure we have a really good understanding of what you need and require. I do go off of all of the notes in your guest profile, and these are relayed to our guides well ahead of time. But if you feel like there's not enough room in there to explain, or if you just want to make sure that I have a good understanding of it, please feel free to give me a shout. I would be happy to make additional notes for you as needed. Are we feeling good about all of our answers? Do we have any more questions that we'd like to drop in here at all?
No, that's been very helpful for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Barry. Nice to see you in person.
Good to see you too. Say hello to Atilia.
I absolutely will. Wonderful. Well, we'll wrap up there. If there's no more questions, it has been an absolute pleasure. Again, for me, it's so nice to see the faces. A lot of times it's just behind the emails and behind the phone, and you get to know the guides out on the trips, but it is so great to see everybody. Again, thank you so much for paddling with Pathways. If you have any questions that come up once you leave the meeting, call me, email me. I'm here to support you all the way through the trip. And after the trip, we love to hear your stories and see your photos as well. But please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything leading up to. Yeah, we're super excited for the trip, and thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Carla.
Take care.
And thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.